So the recruiting class comes in as a top 4 to 5 class in the nation. I don't know how much of a recruiting guy you are. That's kind of a specialized situation there, but obviously it's become 95 to 98% about National Signing Day in December. Is there any expectation that there's anybody else out there? Is there another scholarship or two to fill that they could use?
I mean, I think we have almost 30 guys coming in, and we're already at the scholarship cap. From what I've heard this week, they're really going heavy in on defensive back with the portal. And overall, I think they are happy with the recruiting class. I mean, you signed the best D-line class in the country. You get a blue chip guy in at running back, which is a position that you want to recruit every year, same as quarterback. And then a very underrated part of the class, I'd say, is wide receiver. Sneakily, one of the better wide receiver classes in the country, which with a guy with 5-star talent and Josiah Trader, who was overshadowed a lot simply because his teammate was the best player in the country in Jeremiah Smith. You bring in a guy like Nikar, who I'm thinking he's got elite speed, so that's why it's coming out like that. But you bring in a guy like Nikar, you bring in a guy like Chance Robinson. These are not only guys that have elite talent, but also good size. You know, a lot of times in the past, we've had to deal with a lot of receivers that are on the shorter, skinnier side that couldn't really bring that physicality. But it seems like we're finally having some of that come in. And another knock on Mario for a long time has been he hasn't really been able to recruit receiver that well. But when you bring in a guy like Kevin Beard, who everything you hear about him on the trail is the great relationships that he builds with these guys and how much they love him and how much they appreciate him. I mean, you're an Ohio State guy, Mark. I bet you were sweating to the last minute with the whole Jeremiah Smith thing going on because that's an elite guy. And it came down. A lot of people want to say, oh, it came down to NIL, but it also comes down to relationships. And he said multiple times he had a great relationship with Kevin Beard. And ultimately, it came down to him wanting to go to the more proven NFL factory with Ohio State, which, hey, great for him. It's his decision. I wish we could have had him. We don't. I know he'll produce at Ohio State, one, because you guys have a pedigree for it, and also he's that good that he could go to Florida Atlantic or FIU and he'll put up crazy numbers. It doesn't matter. He's that good. But we're finally starting to see, differences in all the rooms. In the D-line is, when you looked at Miami last year and compared to even just 2022, we looked bigger, we looked stronger, more physical. And that's just going to keep getting better and better every year. But obviously this year is going to be a big turning point for it because we've had a lot of the promises that we've given to the recruits without so much the success on the field. And now it's really going to be a year where we put up or shut up. And it's going to be a year where you need to win 9-10 games in order to sustain the success that you're having in the offseason and off the field with recruiting. Because pretty soon their parents and these kids are going to start asking questions about, yeah, you keep telling me all this stuff, but where's the results? Like, we want to see the results. That's why they're going to the Ohio States. That's why they're going – not so much now. A lot of kids are leaving from Bama, but that's why a lot of kids went to play for Nick Saban because it was like, yeah, I don't really want to live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, but – he's going to put me in the NFL. Same with Jeremiah Smith. I know he'd rather live in Miami than Columbus, Ohio, but he made a business decision saying, okay, these guys have I'm going to hedge my bet over here rather than, taking the more risky option over here.
Yeah, this is the coldest week of the year. He doesn't want to be here now. That's for sure. No. And I'm not exactly in Columbus, but it's actually probably 5 degrees colder where I am. But, shoot, where was I going with that? Oh, when you talk about relationships with recruiting and even with NIL, because my thought is that whether you're an elite player or you're, let's say, just a solid Power 5 level starter on a team, nothing special, but you're a good player, you're coveted by a number of schools, well, you're going to have multiple offers. So nothing has changed. Let's just pretend college football was completely pure and nobody was making any money. So instead of making $0 and determining, okay, where's the best fit for me? Where do I want to go to school? Where do I like it? Where do I like the coaches? Who's going to develop me for the NFL? Well, now you're basically weighing, I can make $300,000 here and they're offering me $275 and they're offering me $310. Why wouldn't I just go to where I really want to go to school and where I want to spend time? And I really like the coaching staff. And so it's still about, I would think, for a decent player who's getting multiple offers, that the money has to be, in a lot of cases, similar. So you're still making the same decision based on who do I want to play for and who do I want to work with.
Yeah, I mean, that's another reason why that whole Miami just pays for players argument is kind of dumb, because you look at a lot of these players and you look at the transfer portal where they end up where their relationships sort of take them. That's why you saw a guy like Michael Penix go. Why did Michael Penix go to Washington? Because he had a relationship with Kalen DeBoer. Why did Dante Moore transfer from UCLA to Oregon? Because he had that relationship with the Oregon staff, because he was previously committed there. That's why when a lot of these guys enter the portal, immediately they look at, well, he was committed here during the recruiting process, and this guy was his O-line coach, and this guy was his offensive coordinator. So they're obviously going to be in the running, and they might be in contact with him. It's still, money is obviously like a new factor in it, but it's not it's definitely not like the make or break. Like, because otherwise everyone would just be ending up at Ohio State, Oregon, Miami, because these are the schools that are really paying a lot, or Texas A&M. But it's still very much about relationships, whether it's in coaching or because we've obviously seen with Mario, a guy like Alex Mirabal, the relationship they have, he's been bringing him everywhere, whether it's in the coaching carousel or with the transfer portal. It's still very much about relationships, and that relationship you can build up, because at the end of the day, like, these are kids, but they're not dumb. They're going to be saying, like, yeah, the money's nice, but is this guy going to be able to take care of me for the next 3 to 4 years? Is this someone that I can trust? And parents, too, they're going to say, okay, is this someone that I can trust with my child for the next 3 to 4 years? It's like, cool, he might give him $50,000 a year, but is he going to really help him, like, grow as a man? Because we just saw the example today where a former Miami Hurricanes running back was recently sentenced to prison until 2026. You know, like, you can make that money now in college, but who says it's not going to go all the way? We've seen professional athletes that make millions and millions of dollars, and then you talk to them 5 years, 10 years, 15 years after they're out of the league, and they're broke because they didn't have someone to guide them along.
No, it's a great point. It is definitely a great point there. Please hit the like button. It's an easy thing to do, folks. And the reason you do that, it doesn't stroke my ego. It's about the algorithms, folks. YouTube says, okay, well, if you got 2,000 views and you got 10 people liking the video, then nobody really likes the video. So easy thing to do is just to click away. Please like the button, hit the like button, and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. Alex has an Instagram. So the best way to find your Instagram Canes account?
Just Hurricane Central.
Okay. Hurricane Central. I wasn't aware of that. So everyone, Hurricanes Central on Instagram. So what are you providing there?
Mainly just updates, polls. You know, I've done Throwback Thursday type stuff, and sometimes I'll have live reactions to games. I can get, anyone that's watched the post game knows I can get pretty emotional on game day. Just watch the Georgia Tech post game and you'll see what I mean, or Middle Tennessee last year. I mean, yeah, I'm just a guy who loves the Hurricanes. I've been watching since I was 10 years old. This is now going to be my 11th season watching the team. And you know, I have to love it when I've experienced nothing but mediocrity. It's not like I'm an Alabama fan where it's been nothing but success after success, or even Ohio State where they've won a national championship that I've seen. So yeah, I'm just a guy who loves the Canes, loves the team. I've been a season ticket holder the last 2 years, and over there it's just that news, updates, rumors. I DM back and forth with some people. I've met a lot of great people on there, even Florida State fans who came in trying to troll me at first, and we end up just talking football, and you know, we're friends now. But yeah, that's really just what it's all about there.